Hey, stop right there. Let me ask you a question. Do you desire to create passive income for you and your family? If so, well, let me show you the exact way that I built 6 to 7 figures with my family off of Airbnb. Let's get started. Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephen Daniel, known as Dr. Airbnb, and I'm back with another video. And today's topic I am very excited about to share with you. We're going to be talking about how to start your very own Airbnb business. If you ever thought about starting your own Airbnb business or being an entrepreneur or even creating generational wealth, then this is the video that you want to stay tuned for. I want to share some information with you. Did you know there are literally over 150 million users and hosts, more than 500 million guests per year on Airbnb? Yes, that was shocking to me as well. Real estate is one of the fastest ways to create generational wealth. And again, if you're interested in creating generational wealth for you and your family, then I'm going to give you the exact steps that you need to do and to create that wealth for you. So let's get into it. Here are 3 reasons as why you should start your Airbnb business. Number 1, passive income. Who doesn't want passive income where you don't have to put all the work in and work and slave for any money? It's going to continue to passively come to you. Secondly, flexibility. Who doesn't want flexibility in a day and a time and an age like this right now? And then third, I'm going to be teaching you how to be your own boss. It's all about entrepreneurship, and that's what I'm all about. So here's my story of how I got started with Airbnb. So last year, if you don't know, I became a flight attendant. And once I became a flight attendant, long story short, I was forced to find a solution for my apartment that was just sitting there. And then I came up with the idea of Airbnb. Rather than just having a property just sit there and having to pay rent, why not rent it out to other people? And that's basically called rental arbitrage, where you take a property and you rent it out with the permission of your landlord or whoever, property manager, and rent it out charging others to stay there. It's kind of like a hotel. So for a hotel, they pay a nightly rate and the guests stay there. Well, now with Airbnb, people pay me to stay at my property, and all I have to do is pay the rent. That's pretty much what it is. So here are the exact steps that you need to do to start your Airbnb business today. Step number 1, I want you to start considering and thinking about your location. Location is the most important factor for starting an Airbnb business. I know there's a lot of other factors that come into play, and we're going to talk about that. And I also go in more in depth at my drairbnbuniversity.com, or you can purchase my planner at drairbnbuniversity.com as well. That teaches you the exact steps that you need to do in order to succeed in this Airbnb business. But one thing that I'm going to teach you is that location is important, it's key. Because if you find yourself at the wrong location at the wrong time, then you can be out of business and out of money. Okay, so location is your most important factor that I would say for anybody going into the Airbnb business. Alrighty, so I want you to start considering, where will your first property be? Do you have a spare room or apartment already that you're living in, and you want to do kind of like I was doing, where you rent out your property? Or do you have a house that you can rent out? Will the property be in your current city and state? Are you going to go out of the state, out of the country? Where exactly do you want to open your first Airbnb property? Now, this is going to take a lot of logic, and also it's going to take a lot of research. I'm going to teach you right now how to do that research and what information you're going to need to make that right decision. but it's all going to be based on you. I can give you suggestions. You can look off of research and data, but it's going to be up to you of where you want to find or get your first property. Okay, and when choosing a location, I want you to consider the following. Accessibility, number one. How is the property accessible for you and your team? What if a fire breaks out or a shootout is at your property? Is this property going to be accessible for you to get to easily? So that's definitely something I want you to consider. Even though you may hire somebody, and I teach my students how to hire a staff to take care of your property for you, you want to make sure that just in case of any issues, you still are able to get to and from the property, or you have a plan of how you're going to get to and from the property. Second, I want you to consider your budget. How much can you afford? What is the monthly rent that you're trying to go for? How much do you have that you're trying to put up for your first property? And then thirdly, I want you to start thinking about, is the area profitable? Because again, if you choose the wrong location and it's not profitable, you can find yourself out of business or just paying rent, which you don't want to get into Airbnb just to pay the rent. Okay, step number two. I want you to create a budget. It's very important that in this business of Airbnb, or in business and in life generally, that you stick to a budget. So creating a budget, you're going to be able to know exactly what you're going to have to pay, the cost of the property, how much everything is going to cost. So once you completed your research and you chose an area that you decided upon, create a budget. How much do you have to invest? Are you using your own money? Are you using a loan? Are you using business credit? Create a specific budget of everything that you're going to need and stick to that budget. Now, in the Creating Generational Wealth Planner, I give you all of these documents and budget sheets and everything that you're going to need. So go to www.drairbnbuniversity.com and get your planner right now. On your budget sheet, I want you to include your monthly rent for the property, your utilities, the deposit you may have to pay, the furniture, linens, tiles, TVs to furnish the whole property. I want you to consider all of those factors and everything that you're going to have to pay for. Number three, it's all about research. So once you decided upon your location, you created a budget, now I want you to start researching, what does the data say about this area that you are planning on doing Airbnb in. So use websites like airdna.co and mashvisor.com to see what other hosts are earning in your desired area. So I highly recommend doing this step before you go get the property. So let's say I was in Dallas, Texas, and I want to get a property in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, I want to know, what is the area of Atlanta, Georgia? How much is it earning? And so once you use these websites like AirDNA and Mashvisor.com, they will provide information for you based off of other hosts in that area that you research. Okay, so they're going to give you the occupancy rate, the nightly rate, and the annual revenue, and so much more based upon other hosts in that area. So it's very important to use those websites to pull the research and the data that you're going to need to be able to make that sound decision and know that you're going to be able to make a profit, because you're in business to make a profit. Okay, then I want you to use the Airbnb.com website and platform to see what other hosts are charging in the area that you are also considering. Step number 4. A part of your market research, I also want you to consider the following. Decide up on your rental market. Who are you targeting to, and who is your customers? Business travelers, tourists, college students? Who exactly are you targeting to? Then also, I want you to know, what problem are you solving, okay? Consider that and make sure you have that in mind. And also, do you plan on doing corporate housing or short-term rental? Now, let me break down the difference between those two. Corporate housing is generally rented out in month-long increments, okay? While short-term rental are rented for short periods of times, okay? So a corporate housing, they're more for professionals that's traveling for business, maybe an intern student, or maybe a company is going to fly out their employer, or they're transitioning to another state and they need to house their employer in that area for a couple months, maybe 3 to 6 months, while short-term rental is maybe a family traveling to Disney World for the week or the weekend. So I definitely want you to consider those two things and the differences. Step number 5. I want you to make sure that you do the proper research for your city and state laws, because every single city and state has different laws and rules and regulations for Airbnb or short-term rentals, okay? Even with your property, make sure that you look at the contract, because every apartment complex or landlord or contract agreement that you sign has a different term for short-term rentals, or it's also called subleasing. So make sure you do the proper research and don't overlook that. Then start contacting apartments in your desired area and build relationships with property managers and present your business idea to them. Again, I highly suggest to present a business rather than presenting an Airbnb business. Airbnb is not your business. That's only a platform that you are using, a third party. So you must, which I again highly suggest, you must present a business opportunity and let the landlord or the property manager know what problem you are there to solve. So again, I'm not going to go in depth on how to speak with property managers and give you the scripts, because I do provide all of that in the Creating Generational Wealth Planner. But I want to give you some short information about how to find apartments. I use websites like apartments.com, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist to find apartments, and then you're simply going to reach out to the property manager, and again, it's up to you to build that relationship with them and solve a problem, provide a service for them. It has to be a mutual relationship. Again, I suggest doing this under your business, so it's not just anything that you're doing, and you're not just another Airbnb host. So when you set yourself, you're going to set yourself apart when you have a business, and this is your business that you're doing. Once you found a property, make sure you get in writing that you are allowed to sublease or do Airbnb, and make sure that you have a contract agreement. Once you've done all that, you found the property, you built the relationship, I highly suggest making sure that you maintain that relationship and keep good standing with that property, because if they give you one unit, then you could possibly grow to more units at that same property. That's it. You should be able to go ahead and open your first property with all of these tips and information that I have provided for you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any tips or suggestions for me, let me know. I love to hear from you. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.